Now I'm sure many of us know this company and I don't need to explain what Apple is. But for any of you that haven't been living on the planet Earth, Apple is one of the leaders within the consumer electronics industry. They sell some of the most famous products including the iPhone, the Mac, the MacBook, the Apple Watch, the AirPods, and the list goes on and on. So without wasting any of your time, we're going to look into some basic analysis around this company. So first of all, Apple is listed on the Nasdaq with the ticker code AAPL. The company is currently trading at $127.35 as of the 12th of June 2021. The 52-week high is $145.09 and the low is $83.14. They have a huge market capital of $2.13 trillion. Apple is actually the very first trillion-dollar company worldwide, the first ever, which was back in 2018. They have a PE ratio of 28.58 and they have a dividend yield of 0.69%, which equates to 22 cents a share. So now going a little bit more into the dividend information. The dividend 5-year average is 1.16%. Apple does have a dividend growth rate of 9.83% and a very healthy payout ratio of 18.62%. Now this means that they can afford to pay their dividends and they can still keep quite a bit of their revenue for other needs. Speaking of their other revenues, Apple has a total revenue of $274 billion and a net income of $57 billion. This means that they have a net profit margin of 23.45%. The net income increased from $48 billion back in 2017, which is a difference of about $9 billion income annually. So now that makes it quite evident to me that they've definitely been growing their company further and further. So now they do also have a return on equity of 73.69% and a return on invested capital of 32.37%. Now I just quickly want to ask if you could quickly like the video if you are enjoying it so far and you'd like to share it a little bit further, help me out. And also subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this. So now back to the video. The balance sheet for Apple is relatively good in my opinion, except for the debt to equity ratio of 1.75. So now this does mean that they do have $1.75 of debt for every dollar of equity, and although this isn't great, their income and well-established brand should mean this isn't a huge problem for investors. Their total assets is $323 billion, while their total liabilities are $258 billion, giving Apple a total equity of $65 billion in total. And then a quick look into the insider trading does tell me that really there's nothing too exciting happening. We can see that obviously there's a lot of selling, but at the same time the buying is outweighing that, so it's not really much to worry about in my opinion. I don't think there's anything that we don't know, and I don't think there's anything that we should be selling for. I think that really it's okay. And then finally I wanted to look at the stock price performance over time in terms of stock growth, since this is a longer term company to be holding in most cases. So the growth over the last year is at 50.35%. Now do keep in mind we did experience a crash right before 1 year ago, meaning they have had a lot of room to recover. However, nonetheless, looking 5 years back, there was a 434% increase from where it was 5 years back, which was in 2016, which wasn't actually too long ago. In fact, the Apple AirPods were initially released back then in 2016, meaning that Apple was already established quite highly and we all already knew the brand and were buying the products back then. So it's not exactly like a huge surprise and it's a penny stock. This was always well established. And so now my final thoughts are that this isn't actually that overvalued. I think a lot of people would disagree and say that it is somewhat overvalued, but I don't really think it's that overly overvalued. Overly overvalued, that's a weird sentence, but anyway, I don't think it's very overvalued. I think really it's probably at its fair price. I don't think it's a discount price by any means, but nonetheless, I do think this is a very high quality company. Now that is of course just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a professional at all, and you should not be taking any of this as financial advice. Instead, do your own research and then decide yourself whether you think you want to invest in Apple or not. Thank you all for watching the video. I really do appreciate it, and I hope I see you all in the next one. Thank you.